Okay, what I have here is a inflatable suit from, I believe it was either Latex Catfish or Squeak Latex, whichever of those is made in China, so you're gonna get what you pay for. So, what happened was initially with the suit, when I got sent, it's inflatable. So it has an inner hull and an outer hull. The inner hull is what you get into, it's like an undersuit, and the outer hull contains the air. What happened with this one was that the legs were switched. So here we have the right leg on the suit, and over here we have the left leg on the suit. The inside internal body part, the right leg crossed over into the left leg, and then vice versa, left leg crossed over into the right leg. So it was almost impossible to put on under normal circumstances unless you're one of them stretchy people that can do that, and it would still look really weird. So what I did was I just popped the seams loose and glued it together. Then after that, what I did was I went over the entire suit with my creator's eye, that's patented by the way, and I took a look and see how it was constructed. Now, I would think that they've made, maybe a handful of these, 40, 50, because of everything everybody has on the internet. So, I took a look at all the seams. And what I've noticed is that straight seams, they get right. All the straight seams on here are done fairly well. It's when they start getting into the minutia and the smaller portions that they start making rookie latex mistakes. Which, give me a second, let me adjust some light here. You can see we have bunching and gathering. That's where you have two pieces of latex you glue together, and you either have to stretch the top piece or the bottom piece to get them to work, to create a hole, an orifice, or to get them to meet up at a specific point on the body. And this, you can find this all over the place. On the leg, you can see it right here. The latex is stuck to itself. You can see some bunching. Almost anywhere you look on the suit that's not a straight seam, where they've had to stretch the damn thing. Right here, where they've had to stretch the damn thing to get them to work. So overall, we're already talking, rookie kind of quality for the fact that they probably made a bunch of suits. And after, 5 or 6 things of latex I've made, I've been able to put it together with very minimal, if any, of those stretching and distorting. Now, you notice this a lot on, the breasts right here. You can see where they had to bunch up they had to stretch the underlayer to get the top layer to fit. Which you get that when you don't create exact size holes. And I mean, you can see it right here too. It's almost anywhere there's not a straight line. Anywhere there's a curve, a hole, an opening, that's where it's all messed up. Now, another thing that they did was with the hands. Now, the hands on this suit it's basically they took latex gloves. We'll get the inflator out of the way. They took latex gloves and glued them onto hand pieces they made. And you can see all around the hand, the latex is bunched up. The seams hold together good, but the latex is all bunched up, really crappy, not really going to create a smooth sort of latex when you put the thing on. And I was surprised that they let this thing go from, whatever factory they're making it in with the legs crossed issue. That's why it was sent to me to get fixed. Now, another thing is, on the left hand, what they did was they almost nearly did the same thing they did with the legs. But instead of taking and gluing the arm straight down, you would think that you take the two pieces for the inflatable portion of the body as you glue the arm, and then the rest of the arm, this inflatable, down to the wrist. Well, what they did was, let's say this is the oversuit right here, the part that actually has the air between the undersuit and the oversuit. And you can see on here that this arm's pretty janked up. There's nothing in it right now, there's no air pressure, and you can see that on the wrist itself, that with no internal force on it, it wants to bunch up to sort of be all grody and discombobulated, because what they did was, whenever they took the internal arm to glue it to the external arm, they took, and instead of just gluing it, laying it down flat and gluing it all together straight, what they did with the wrist was the internal wrist is twisted about 20 to 30 degrees, which creates sort of this dam you have to push your hand through with a lot of lubrication. which really kind of would piss me off if I ordered this, mainly because it had the leg problem. And the friend of mine that got the suit originally talked to the manufacturer and said, your legs are twisted, and even sent them a video. And they didn't believe him, which that's extremely hard to believe. You'd think they would look over something and check it. I know it's only $300, $400, maybe $500 for something like this, which the only way it'd be worth it is that if the latex was a better quality, it would be totally worth the price of just the latex alone. So all the seams themselves seem fairly on there, aside from, I wouldn't call them minor or major, I'd call them medium flaws. Visual flaws in the rubber being twisted, discombobulated, bunched up. Aside from the legs, the whole suit itself is not really visually pleasing, but the seams are put together halfway decently. You can even see here on the neck we have the same thing, the latex bunches up. And unless they keep getting new people in there every couple suits they make, their latex technicians, I guess, would evolve, basically level up, to speak, to a better level of making latex. Now, another thing I really wanted to see what they did was the zipper, because usually what latex makers do is they'll take a cloth back zipper, use a zipper latex, which is like a really, really viscous, thin gum latex, and then what they do is they take and they soak the portion of the zipper that doesn't have the teeth in it, and basically embed the zipper material with rubber latex. And when it cures, you can put latex glue and then sheet latex over it. And boom, there you go. You can have a good zipper that'll stick onto a suit. But what they did was, this is probably the only time you hear me say this. I don't know how long it'll last, but it's kind of ingenious. What they did was they took the zipper and placed a piece on the inside, and they sewed it to the latex. Then what they did was that they took top and bottom all over the zipper, sewed it to the latex, so they had basically this sort of latex adhesive surface to work with. And you can see, if I can hold it up to the light, you can see how they did that. The edge of the zipper's on the right side of the camera, and then you can see the darker area, where in the darker area, that is the overlay. They sewed 2 layers of this front and back to the zipper, then they glued those 2 layers together, which means that on top of it they could glue another layer. Now, I thought that was really cool. I'm going to have to experiment with this in the future, but for now I'll just stick with the regular soaking of the latex. Now, the head has some of the more complex parts on it, and I've wanted to look at this for a long time. The ears are basically just triangles cut out of latex. They took an orange and a white, glued them together, and on the inside it feels like it's a piece of paper. It's sort of stiff, it can bend, but it goes back into position, which I don't think I'd use paper for that. Pretty Pervy, I know, takes and runs wires along the perimeter of the ear on the inside, so that you could stick up, you can pose them, you can go like that, or you could bend it in, something like that. You can shape the ears. That was pretty cool. And the head design itself, it's really messed up, because once inflated, you see the nose section here. The nose section is it's concave when it's inflated. So it's kind of pushed in, which kind of makes sense when you take a look on the inside of the head. And on the inside of the head you have, let me pull this inside out, this is the inside of the head now. You have your hood area, the eye holes, and they have a little breathing tube. I guess I couldn't figure out how to make a head where you didn't need a breathing tube. The only bad thing about the breathing tube is it's too soft. I mean, with a moderate amount of pressure you can squeeze it shut. Now when it inflates, the tube, depending on where the person is wearing it, how high their mouth is on their chin and stuff like that, what it'll do is the tube will either go up or down, and it starts to squeeze when it inflates, which that's kind of really bad. You can somewhat breathe out the eyes, but it's not that good. So I've had a chance to look at their suits, and now I know why people, I know they're from China, that's why people give them a bunch of crap. But you get what you pay for. You pay $300, you're going to get this, wrinkly ass suit with this sort of shovel face with a caved-in nose. Doesn't really look that good. The latex itself feels like it's maybe 0.5 or 0.4 millimeter, which that's just between flexible latex and durable latex. The thinner the latex is, 0.4, 0.3 millimeter, what that is it's more flexible, but it's not as durable. If you want durable, you have to go 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, sometimes 1 millimeter latex. That's really durable, but the problem is it's stiff. It doesn't like to inflate well. Where if you want inflation for the idea of you're having a big bulbous shape, you use thinner stuff. But I don't know where they got the latex. They probably got it from another factory in China. Another thing that kind of bugged me was, here's the inflator valve. Yeah, just sticking out of your head, right there, like a stupid antenna. It's just a basic. It almost looks like a tire inflator valve. Only thing about it is there is no Schrader valve on the inside, so you have to put the cap back on, which holds in the pressure up to a moderate amount, but a little bit leaks out. Whereas if you had a Schrader valve, you'd have to have a special fitting that would go on there to take it in and out. So for the $300 to $400 or $500 price range you're going to pay for the suit, I mean, if you have the money, and you want something cheap, you can get something cheap, but you're going to get what you pay for. You're going to get sort of crappy latex, which the origin of it is questionable. You're going to get crappy put together seams. Here's the tail tip. They just took two pieces of latex and kind of just rolled them together like a joint, which is really fucking stupid. You're going to get crappy construction, questionable to crappy materials, and sometimes major fuck-ups where they don't even want to talk to you about them and say, hey, oh yeah, sorry, we fucked that up. It doesn't even seem like they looked it over to me. Because anybody with half a brain trying to put this suit on is going to be able to say, oh, the damn thing's fucked up. And they're not, and they didn't fix it. They even doubted that my friend that sent it said it was messed up. Well, you're just trying to get a free suit from us. No, you guys fucked it up. So if you want to pay $350, $400, in that low price range, basically under $700 for a suit, you can pay for it, but you're going to get what you pay for. Too bad Pretty Pervy's out of business right now. Otherwise, you could get something really good quality from them. I've looked at their stuff, and it's just amazing. The quality of Pretty Pervy stuff as compared to this is godlike. This is sort of like a mentally handicapped person with Parkinson's disease and half blind in one eye trying to put this thing together. That's what this is.